Hey peeps. So, coming back at y'all live with another update. Also, I am going to be doing a Cancer reading after this. Oh, I can unplug this. Okay. So, yes, I will be doing a Cancer reading after this. But right now, I am going to update you all on everything going on with the whole allegations against Jay-Z. So there's a lot of updates. First off, this was something that already was taking place prior to him being accused of rape. But Jay-Z, I think he's still suing Tony Busby for claims of, extortion. And now what's going on is that Tony Busby is being accused by Jay-Z of pressuring clients to say that certain things happened related to Diddy that did not. Okay? Now, but get this. There's been an even more recent update, which is that, and I don't have, the only proof I have is of someone I follow that covers a lot of content surrounding Jay-Z and Diddy. But it's kind of weird because I picked up on it intuitively. Like, when I found out about that, Tony Busby supposedly pressuring clients, I just kind of felt inside myself, I'm like, I wonder if she was like paid or hired, to do that. And sure enough, again, I couldn't find anything. I tried to do research and find more information on it, and I could not find more information on this, but this particular person that I follow, she might get information before it comes out because she's kind of big on covering this subject matter. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, that's the claim, I guess, is that Jay-Z might be paying, allegedly, supposedly, potentially might be paying fake people to make shit up, basically, and make it sound like, basically manipulate Tony Busby into quote unquote incriminating himself, because they're like manipulating his words. Because one of the things they said is that he had asked her, like, what's your involvement with Diddy? But it's like, well, what did she say prior to that, though? Because I don't think she clarified whether she was a victim of Diddy or not. And so I think he was just asking for clarification. And they took that and they manipulated it into, oh, he's trying to pressure her into being a victim of Diddy's. And it's like, no, again, sounds like he's doing his job, trying to find out more information. And yet again, this is being manipulated. So this whole thing is ridiculous. I know Jay-Z is being extremely, I'm going to call him by his real name, Sean Carter, Mr. Carter. He's being very manipulative. And he's very entitled and arrogant, and he sure is showing his ass when it comes to that lately, especially because his response statement was ridiculous and over the top. I find it odd that, like, he sued him prior to this information coming out, so why? You know what I mean? How was Sean Carter, Jay-Z tipped off? to, you know what I mean? That he was going to be arrested or something like that. I don't know. But point is, I'm going to go through a couple different things I found and just give a little bit more information about it. But yeah, I think if Jay-Z is found out, like they actually find concrete proof and evidence that this is what he's been doing, he's fucked. He is absolutely effed. He is. Because this is his way out, is running a smear campaign against Tony Busby, discrediting his character and name. And Jay-Z thinks he can do this because he thinks that he's hot shit and he's powerful and he's rich and blah, 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 blah. Which, I mean, he is rich, he is famous. And I guess that does give him a certain amount of sway and power, but his arrogance is just so irritating to me. But yeah, so I haven't heard any updates on the Diddy shit and whether that recording being leaked has done anything to change the outcome or whether it's a mistrial. I haven't heard any updates on that. But these are the main updates I've heard, is that there's these claims that Tony Busby is pressuring clients, which that's not true. I don't think it's true. I think they're making it up. Surprise, surprise. And Jay-Z, I think it's, yeah, Jay-Z is, I said that already, he's suing Tony Busby. So he's trying to basically, he's doing what all narcissistic people do, is he has a narcissistic injury, so now he's going to punish Tony Busby because Tony Busby is the one bringing about that injury because he's exposing Jay-Z's false character, false personhood. I don't know why that came to mind. That's weird. Anyway, I'll Google it later, but his existence as a person, whatever. But that's what he's doing now because he's trying to get revenge and punish Tony Busby for exposing him or potentially exposing him. So he's now going to teach him a lesson and show him that, oh, you know, I've got all these powerful lawyers and they're more powerful than you because I'm a billionaire. And I mean, Tony Busby is a big name lawyer too in Texas, though. He's covered some pretty serious or some pretty big cases for like governors and multitude of victims trying to get justice for, I think, a lot of different stuff, but rape is like a big main thing. Oops. So, point being, Jay-Z, yet again, is trying to do whatever he can to dig his heels into the ground to make himself look innocent and make Tony Busby look guilty, but all the while doing so, what's wild is he's actually like exposing himself, you know, which is, this is typical. This is typical of what narcissistic people do, is that they get a narcissistic injury. They're trying to cover up their image, but they over time inevitably can't because someone's going to challenge their bullshit eventually and call them out and force them to be accountable. So when that happens again, they lash out at people, and then it's like everybody's like red flag, or most people are like red flag. Why are you so pissed? I mean, yeah, these are serious allegations, but again, you know, if you didn't do it, what do you have to worry about? You know, if you have great lawyers and you didn't do it, you're a billionaire. I mean, how could you not? I wouldn't be worried if I didn't do it, but I wouldn't be flipping out like that if I didn't do it either. It's just there's too much emotion behind it, and that's almost like the anger almost maybe is a red flag, I guess, with it. Because I don't think I'd be angry if I was falsely accused of something like that. I would be devastated. I'd be sad. I mean, I might be pissed, don't get me wrong, but I guess I can't really decipher it based on that. But it's in the pattern of his behavior, the certain shit I went through the other day that I showed you guys, where he's like flipping the script on him. He's, now doing this whole smear campaign against Tony Busby. And he's trying to make this smear campaign look credible and real. And he's trying to do that by getting people to discredit Tony Busby's name with him. Getting people to make it seem like what he said is true, but the thing that's like another red flag about this is, what are the odds that the day after this happens, someone comes forward and says this about Tony Busby? Don't you find that a bit ironic? Come on. Now all of a sudden he's doing this, now that these allegations against Jay-Z have come out. Now all of a sudden this person decides, supposedly, to call Tony Busby out for, again, something he didn't do. Also, guys, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. Definitely drop a like. The video gets seen more. I appreciate the views. Hope everybody is doing good. I know I'm kind of rambling on. Thank you. I appreciate the like. The likes are not for what people think. I used to think they were. I'm like, ugh, why does anybody give a fuck about that, And then I realized by watching other YouTubers, people were saying stuff like, no, it's not about the likes, it's that it gets the video seen. And if you're trying to have this as a stream of income, then, it's important to get the content out there. But also, like, while this video is not necessarily it is kind of to help people, to help them to understand and discern, like, because some people, I don't know if, like, younger people maybe don't recognize, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating people, shit, I don't know, but the point is, oh shit, I'm burning the wrong end, that's not good. But point is, the likes get the vid seen, so thank you. And okay, so I don't know if it's worth even reading this article, but I'm going to see what this is. Oh my God. How sketchy does this sound? An unnamed woman allegedly claims she felt forced to lie after contacting Tony Busby, the attorney behind a stunning rape lawsuit against Jay-Z. Okay. This is Billboard. This is on Billboard, by the way. Oh, I'm not signing up for shit. By the way, Jay-Z's hair, like, why did he do this? Why did he think this was a cool idea? He looks ridiculous. Okay, let me see. So attorneys for Jay-Z are claiming the new court filings that Tony Busby, the attorney behind a bombshell lawsuit accusing the superstar of raping a 13-year-old girl alongside Sean Diddy Combs, pressured a different alleged sex trafficking victim to falsely tie her case to Combs. In court papers filed Tuesday, oh my God, that was literally today. Lawyers for Jay-Z, Sean Carter from the law firm Quinn Emanuel, tell a federal judge they were approached on Monday by an unnamed woman who had unsolicited info to share about Busby's firm. That's so shady. The woman allegedly told Quinn Emanuel that after she contacted Busby's firm in October about an unrelated celebrity sex abuse case, she was pressed for a connection to Mr. Combs, quote unquote. She also allegedly felt directed and coached by Mr. Busby's firm to include false claims, including that she had been drugged and physically assaulted. She felt forced to lie, quote unquote. Okay. Let's see. This is all lies, so let me just see. The new filings did not reveal the woman's name, though the Quinn Emanuel attorneys say the woman disclosed her name to the firm. They say she currently wishes to remain unnamed at this time for fear of retaliation by the Busby firm. Oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, in a statement to Billboard on Tuesday, Busby called the new accusations ridiculous, quote unquote, and said the firm was pursuing hundreds of cases against people other than Combs. Though he said he could not comment on the specific case without the woman's name, he strongly denied the allegations. Yeah, I think he's manipulating Jay-Z, of course. So weeks ago, Jay-Z filed a preemptive lawsuit against Busby, accusing him of extortion over his threats to sue over wildly false claims. What? Wait. Then on Monday, they filed a scathing response to the new rape lawsuit, denying the allegations as patently false and arguing they were part of a scheme by Busby's to extract settlements from innocent celebrities by falsely tying them to Diddy. What the hell? This is ridiculous. It really is. I keep using that word, but it's asinine. How about that? Yeah. Busby has denied all such allegations, calling them a coordinated and desperate effort to avoid his client's accusations. Oh, Busby has also filed his own lawsuit in Texas against Quinn Emanuel, accusing the firm of seeking to intimidate him, that's Jay-Z's lawyers, and asking for a restraining order blocking their investigation. Yeah, see, remember I told you, well, if you guys watched the other night, I was talking about that, and I told you he tried to get a restraining order against them, and it was denied by a Houston judge on Friday. Wow, this is kind of ridiculous. So there's that. That was that article. Let me get the other one up. Hang on one second. I think that was the main one, because the other one was just talking about statute of limitations for rape in the first degree in New York City and like when laws were changed. So it's kind of interesting because a lot of things were amended very recently in 2019. They extended the length of time that you could apply or not apply, file or whatever. So they extended that to, I think, 10 years for second degree, or maybe it's 20 years for second degree and 10 years for third degree or something like that. And then I couldn't figure out the exact time of when they changed or took away the statute of limitations for rape in the first degree. I don't know why the hell I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, I don't know, but I think it was sometime between 2019 and now, but I could be wrong. So if anybody knows anything, feel free to drop it in the comments, but I don't know exactly when they changed that. So there's no limit on it, but the problem is this rape allegation is from 2000. So she filed a civil suit probably because of that. So because this happened prior to when they changed this law, I don't think she can do anything. There was a period of time, I think in 2022, there was a year window of time. They called it a look back window. And it was a law that they passed for survivors where for that whole year, anybody who had experienced any type of assault at any point could report. I think it was something, hang on, let me get the article up so I'm not citing the wrong. All right, so I got it up because I want to give exacts. So this was from September 2019. This is when this happened. So new state law extends the statute. So the reason this is important is because this happened in New York City in 2000. And so this person who's trying to report, it's like she's kind of in a shitty position because she missed the window of time where she could have reported when they opened it up, and then because it happened so long ago, so that's why she did the whole civil suit thing. So that was also a piece of information I did not know the other day. So New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed legislation Wednesday. Was in 2009. Actually, wait, is this 2019? Yeah, September 18th, 2019. That extends the statute of limitations for certain cases of rape and other sex crimes. Okay. Why would they tell us that? He was joined by actresses. Okay, cool. Who cares? Under the new law, the statute of limitations for reporting second-degree rape cases, increases to 20 years, and third-degree rape increases to 10 years. Okay, so that was the thing I was talking about a minute ago. Previously, both were 5 years, which is insane, but it's insane because now that we understand what we do about this type of abuse, this particular type of abuse, it can take victims a long ass time to want to come forward, if ever. I mean, there's so much shame behind it. It's tough for people to admit to this, especially guys. I mean, that's like so. And it's also confusing too because there's a lot of manipulation and coercion and control, and so it can get confusing on what to do, or like even a lot of the people probably just didn't think that anybody would do anything about it, I'm guessing, in this case, but because of who the people are. But yeah, so that was changed. We don't need to read. Okay, yeah, he said 5 years is an insult to these survivors, and today we're providing them more time to come to terms with the trauma they experienced. Yep, and to seek justice, which is smart because they're understanding how trauma works and how the brain works and how, and it's so ignorant when people try to say that, like, oh, why'd they come out like 10 years later? It's like, no offense, but most of those people are like privileged people who have never been through any type of trauma, let alone that type of trauma. Those are the types of people I always hear saying dumbass shit like that. People who are privileged and haven't been through shit, because the type of shit that does to your brain, I mean, it does damage to the brain. It's like getting a physical injury on the brain. Okay, so hello, that means it absolutely is going to impact your behavior. That means it absolutely is going to keep you in probably a functional freeze state, more than likely, for a long time. But let's see. Oh, and under the law, victims now have 20 years in which to bring a civil suit for the offenses. Wait a second, though. 20 years in which to bring a suit. So how could she even bring a civil suit? Wait a second. I'm confused now. How could she have done a civil suit? Like, what was the law before? How do I put this? Yeah, because it's like it happened in 2000, so it's like yeah, I don't know. I'm confused about that. Oh, wow. Okay, this is pretty sweet. In February of 2019, Cuomo signed into law the Child Victims Act, which allows survivors of child sexual assault to pursue criminal felony charges until they turn 28 and file a... Oh, there we go. That answers my question. And file a civil lawsuit before age 55. Because that answers my question, because I'm like, how could she possibly do that? She could do that because of the Child Victims Act, because she was 13 when this happened to her. So she is able to file a civil lawsuit because she's younger than the age of 55. That's how she was able to file a civil suit, is through the Child Victims Act. Okay. So, but she's clearly over the age of 28, this woman. Um, and so yeah, that's why I don't know how she's going to be able to, like, how she would be able to do criminal charges at this point, but yeah. Um, oops, I'm trying to like figure out how to get this whole, oh my gosh. What? Okay. Hang on, I'm trying to get the, okay, there we go. I'm like, how do you get that off? Because like I had an article I was reading and stuff, but yeah, so it's a bunch of bull. And at this point, um, Jay-Z, if they can find evidence that he paid someone to come out and do that, if they can figure that out, then he's gonna be in some trubs. I mean, I'm not sure they can do the whole criminal thing, but he's probably gonna have to pay. And yeah, but he seems even more stubborn than Diddy about this. And it's kind of like, I think it's because he has a way cleaner image than Diddy. And he's a narcissist. So he's angry because it's like, well, everybody knows that everybody has known forever that P. Diddy is a fucking creep. In Hollywood and otherwise, people have suspected him and just known he's a hothead, he's a creep, whatever. Nobody has really necessarily, outside of Jaguar, right? Nobody else has really had that view on Jay-Z. It's mostly been on P. Diddy. So I think that's why he's having such an intense response, because I think he's angry because it's like, oh, well, of course they would catch Diddy because he's a fucking creep. But I think he's angry because it's like, man, he's had this, decently clean image, Jay-Z, of himself up until this point. And so it's like, oh man, to have this allegation on his image and reputation when, oh man, now he's a billionaire and he's gone unscathed this whole time. It just, I think that's why he's this pissed off, because again, narcissist, all about image, and his image is being tarnished. Well, rather his character is being exposed. His image is not, well, I guess his character is being exposed and therefore his image is being tarnished because of that. And righteously so, because his image does not match his true character and who he actually is. Fraud alert in this bitch. So yeah. So it's pretty crazy. I am gonna do a cancer read. My bad, hang on. All right, people, my bad. But yeah, it's just crazy, and I hope that they can't get out of this, I mean, Jay-Z, I don't think he's gonna be spending any time behind bars unless another victim comes out to accuse him. But you know what? That's just something else that just came to mind. He must have other victims, Jay-Z. He must have other victims. You want to know why I think that? Because his statement is so intense and it's meant to intimidate and scare not only this chick who was 13 when he did this, but I think his statement is also to intimidate anybody else who sees his reaction to this, so that, that's why he's being so angry and intense, because he's trying to make a mockery of Tony Busby and essentially show any other victim that might be out there that, hey, if you come forward to try to fuck with me, I'm going to annihilate you, or try to. I'm going to try to annihilate your character. I'm going to smear your character. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to humiliate you. I'm going to come for you. I'm going to sue you. You know what I mean? So he's doing this. Jay-Z is doing all of this as a defense mechanism and an exhibit to, like I said, all of the other potential victims that he may have out there, Jay-Z, um, to say to them, hey, if you try to do this, if you try to do what Tony Busby is doing to me right now, I'm going to come for your ass too. That's what he's trying to say. That's what he's trying to show people. And I think he's also doing it on behalf of Diddy secretly. But yeah. So it's like, and I think it's probably to show his loyalties to him so he doesn't throw Jay-Z under the bus, shit like that. But I think that's what it is. He's trying to scare and intimidate this victim and other victims that are out there, because I think that's the other reason he's so angry, is I think he might be paranoid and scared that there's somebody else out there that might come forward, Jay-Z. And I think that's why he's, flipping the fuck out and acting this way, because he thought surely no one would come for him, I think that's what he thought. 31:31 on the clock. And that's fine, but he was wrong. So I think Jay-Z might be having to pay up. I'm not sure there's any type of criminal charge, though, that can go against him. The only reason that happened with Cassie's case is because the assaults had happened recently. That's why she was able to file a civil suit, which then turned into a criminal suit. So Cassie filed a civil suit and wanted to settle it quietly and wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. But then he wouldn't settle it. Diddy wouldn't settle what Cassie was asking for. So she's like, okay, well, if you don't do that, I'm going to go public with it. He didn't believe she would, I think. I think he thought he was the shit and he had that much power and control over her, that she wouldn't come forward. So she did. She went public with the civil suit. And again, like I said, the only reason criminal charges were able to be taken place there with Cassie, or like the only reason she was able to file criminal charges, is because these sexual assaults and abuse and all this shit happened within the past 3 to 8 years, I think, something like that. So it's like, I think some of them she definitely can report. So that's the difference. And this other chick, because it happened in 2000 when she was 13, I don't know how long, so that's 25 years. So she's, oh wait, she's probably like in her late 30s, I guess. Whoever that chick was, that actually it came out that it was it's an NHL player's ex-wife that is accusing Jay-Z of rape. She was 13 at the time. She is, like I said, the ex-wife of an NHL player. That's the other thing that's messed up, is that they're like, Diddy and Jay-Z are like trying to force these victims to, show themselves. And again, they're doing that to make a mockery of them. They're doing that to humiliate the victims and shame them. And basically, again, make a show out of it and make a mockery out of them. And basically, it's a way to say to other victims that are out there, if you try to come forward, we're just going to do this to you. We're just going to expose you. We're going to embarrass you. We're going to make you look stupid, and you're not going to get shit from us. That's what he's trying to showcase. That's what Jay-Z is trying to do there with that. But I kind of hope it doesn't work, and I hope that if there are more victims out there of Jay-Z's, that they do come forward, but I don't know. I mean, if you're going to do that once, you're probably going to do that again. You don't just, I mean, if you're a rapist or an abuser, you're not, you know what I mean? You don't just, if you're somebody who does that stuff, it's an issue, an emotion. I think it's like is it a compulsion? I don't think so. It's a control and power issue. I'm sorry, guys. That was ignorant of me. It's a power and control issue, but what I'm saying is it is kind of an issue of emotion regulation and compulsion, because it's like wanting control and not being able to accept that that's, I mean, first off, normal people don't even think like that. So it's like not even, whatever. I'm not going to delve into the brain of a psychopath, or a sociopath rather. I think Diddy's a sociopath, not a psychopath. Sociopath was made that way. It's a nurture issue, and a psychopath is born that way. It's a nature issue, probably, rather. But I don't think they really know, like, how that happens. You know what I mean? Like, what determines whether you're going to have a psychopath or whatever. And so what's scary about that is that it's like a demon. But anyway, it's scary to think. But like I said, I think he's trying to do this whole show. Like, I'm seeing a peacock. You know how peacocks, they show their feathers to try to show, oh, I'm the shit, but also like they try to be intimidating that way. That's what this reminds me of. Like puffing his chest up, trying to but I say peacock because it's like, peacocks are all colorful and loud, and there's so much going on. It's noisy. It's like that's what Jay-Z is doing, making a whole lot of noise and distraction. Wow. And a lot of ego as well. So yeah. That's really it on that. I also found out some information about, like, apparently Beyonce and Blue Ivy are in, what did they say? The Lion King or something like that? What is it? Hang on, let me see. Okay, so I just had to look into it. Apparently, I guess Beyonce and Blue Ivy are the voices of two characters in the new Lion King cartoon movie. I guess, like, Beyonce is Nala and Blue Ivy is her daughter. I think Simba would be Simba. Anyway, yeah. So my point in saying that is Jay-Z went to that premiere, and I don't know, he's kind of just like, I think that's a show too, to show, like, again, I have this much power. Like, I'm not gonna allow you exposing my image to, control whether I still try to parade around that image or not, basically. I think it's a power move again. Everything this fucking dude is doing is a power move. Everything this dude Jay-Z is doing is a fucking power move. Everything. So I know it wouldn't maybe seem like that, but going to his daughter and, his wife Beyonce's movie premiere thing, that is a showcase of, like, well, there's a victim out there, and I'm like, I have these huge allegations, but I'm just gonna go on about living my life and fuck you and fuck these allegations. And it's his way of trying to again make him look innocent, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna let this phase me, I'm gonna pretend again that I'm innocent. And I think it's also a way to show the victims, like, again, I'm more powerful than you. It's kind of an intimidation tactic in a sense. Like, again, me and my family are more powerful than you and I can take you down type of a thing. So, hey, Mr. Rogers, I'm okay. How are you doing? What's going on? What's the haps, everybody? I'm talking about Jay-Z and how he's using all these weird, passive-aggressive, manipulative tactics, these subtle tactics to try to intimidate and scare the victim, but also, I think, potential other victims out there. And like how he's doing it in these weird, like just very ego-based ways. I mean, all of it's ego, but so it's just like, I don't know. He's screaming guilty to me. It's just too hot-headed of a response. It's weird. It's very suspect. Very, very suspect how up in arms he's getting about this. Like, again, I know people are like, well, shouldn't he be mad? Yeah, but again, it's what you do with that anger and the fact that he's now like running a smear campaign and suing people. By the way, this is another thing I forgot to mention. It's very common that narcissistic people will abuse the court system and do anything to abuse their power to get back at the victim. So it's like, I feel like the suing thing is another power move of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get what I want basically, and my lawyers are really powerful. And but also, like I said, abusive people, predators, they abuse the court system to get back at people, to punish people, to exert their quote unquote power over people. And they do it by manipulating and lying, of course, but nonetheless, these people are being paid millions probably to work for Jay-Z, these lawyers, so I'm sure they don't give a fuck, which is fucked. But anyway, it's like, I don't know. He's a creep and he's given himself away. There's too many red flags here with how he's behaving. It's very typical predator, but you know what? I will say with him, I was looking at a picture of Jay-Z, I think today. His eyes are really big and piercing, and I'm going to go Google a picture in a second, of course, but it's like, P. Diddy's, I think, a sociopath, but Jay-Z, I don't know, could he be a psychopath? Just thinking about the picture I saw with his eyes, and it was just real piercing. That's the only way I know how to describe. That's the psychopathic stare. They actually call it the psychopathic stare. There's a distinct look in the eye that psychopaths have, and it's just look out for with somebody who, I'm just telling you, it's very piercing. It looks almost not human. It's weird. It's very demon looking, demon-like, or I don't even fucking know how to describe the look. But if you want to know what the look looks like, go Google Ted Bundy and look at images, okay? Or Google the psychopathic stare, and they'll give you some images of it, so you can, because I think it's important to be able to discern that stuff, because unless you're highly sensitive, it can be hard to tell. It could be hard to tell. But I don't know, I feel like psychopaths give themselves away because they're so, like, I don't want to say weird, but yeah, they're like not human. They are strange. The way they act, that one psychopath, he was so weird. I'm just gonna say this one thing. That psychopath that I met, one thing I thought was really creepy is he walked in the door of the house, closed the door, and stood right by the front door and stared at me and his mom, 4444 on the clock, 44. That's a protective number. Anyway, thank God I was safe in that situation, but it was weird. That kid was like across the room staring at both of us. His mom already told me she thought he was a psychopath. And I thought, maybe she's exaggerating it. You know how some of these people are. Oh no. No. It was like a movie scene, like I said, because she got up from the table as soon as he sat down. It's almost like she's creeped out by him. It's like everybody's kind of like, oof, walking on eggshells, eerie. It was just so eerie. Oh man. It was so. I work with people and I've worked with people for a long time, especially younger people, teenagers and shit like that. I don't get nervous around teenagers, okay? What made me nervous is that I can typically pick up on other people's nervousness or anxiety, or, I can feel everything because I'm an empath and I'm psychic. It's just burned into my memory. It's like I didn't feel anything from this kid, nothing. And that scared the fuck out of me. And that's where I started to get more anxiety. And that's because all I could feel was my own anxiety, which I think I would have anxiety going into these people's houses because I'm like, I don't want to die. But then it was like, it increased, and it's like, again, like I said, couldn't feel anything. And there's a difference because I talked to his brother, the kid's brother. He was very nervous around me, like, not wanting to look at me a whole bunch and all this stuff. Normal teenage shit. That's how I knew this other kid was like, ooh, just crazy, a psychopath. Because he sat down across the table, he put his hands together, like, how you put your hands together, like when you fold your hands like this. And he did that very slowly and propped his arms up on the table and just stared at me blankly with dead, dark eyes. And I mean dark eyes. It was really weird. It was one of the creepiest experiences of my life. I couldn't really it was hard to look him in the eye. It was hard to look him in the eye. I felt like I was sitting across the table from like a 40 or 50-year-old, like somebody that they don't have any anxiety because they don't really give a fuck what people think typically. By a certain age you get to that point. This was a 16-year-old boy, and that's how I knew it wasn't normal. I'm like, how are you like... he was like intimidated. Anyway, it was so weird. It was very weird. And I'm a bit traumatized by it. That's why I'm kind of like going down a spiral here, because that shit was just so strange. But anyway, Jay-Z, Jay-Z in the house, people. Just kidding. I'm tired of talking about him too. I don't think I have any other updates on that. I don't really typically care about celebrity news or other celebrities. I mean, I'm covering this to help people understand it based on my knowledge and background in domestic violence and just abuse in general, sex trafficking, sexual assault, shit like that. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was so weird. He was like staring me, just wouldn't look away, and it was almost looking at me like how you'd see like a predator hunting their prey in the wild. That's how it felt. It literally felt that way, because when he looked at me like that, of course I'm like scared shitless. I'm like, I look down, I'm nervous, I'm fumbling around like, holy shit, because I was scared because his mom got up from the table as soon as he sat down, and the whole thing, like I said, it was so weird. She was walking on eggshells. She was all quiet with her daughter. I'm like, this is so creepy. Like, and he was an adopted child too, and they like had cameras in his room and stuff. They had to, because it's like they were all scared of him, and he was committing a lot of crimes and shit like that, stealing cars, blowing them up, crazy shit like that with his brother. He was coercing his brother into doing it. And anyway, this kid was in and out of juvie, and last time I knew, he was in juvie, and I just don't even know. He had a pretty rough start to life. I think he was with a pretty negligent mother up until about 9 months. Those are really, really delicate age or developmental stages, I guess, or age times, whatever. I don't know how to put it into words, but like the first 9 months and shit like that, even in the womb, you can get traumatized. So, yeah, this kid was neglected up until 9 months and then was adopted. So there's that abandonment. I don't know, but I think the kid was a psychopath to begin with. I mean, you're born a psychopath, so it's not like you become that. So regardless of his circumstances, he was born that way. So it wouldn't have mattered really, to be honest, what happened or how negligent or not that she was. Because if you're a psychopath, you're born that way. It doesn't, nothing, and you can't cure that. So it's just, really, we should kind of off these peeps, but whatever. That's just my opinion of it, because I'm wasting my tax money, you know, the money I'm supposed to be getting out of my paycheck to house people, certain people who are psychopaths. We should do tests and see, okay, who's a psychopath? Okay, that means they're incurable. So, okay, let's stop being so humane and recognize that this is not an issue of humanity or empathy. This is a logistical issue. And logistically speaking, this person can't function properly in society and they never will be able to ever. So why are we just like putting them behind bars until they die? Why not just put them out of their misery, put us out of our misery so that we don't have to keep fucking paying to feed these psychopaths, some of these psychopaths behind bars. I'm not talking about, you know, other people behind bars. I'm talking about psychopaths, straight up psychopaths, okay? So, but yeah, you guys, that was mostly it with that. I'm gonna do a cancer reading after this, I'm thinking. I'm pumped. I haven't done a reading in a while. Mr. Rogers, if you're still in here, can you remind me again what your sign is? I'm trying to ask people again because I'm seeing if maybe I should do individual zodiac sign readings. And so I'm just, anybody who's in here, feel free to drop your zodiac sign. Because, yeah, I'm really trying to figure out like what else to do, because sometimes the collective readings can be really iffy. Oh, you're a Scorpio? Did you tell me that before? There's no way. I wonder, I swear I probably asked. That's crazy. Oh man, so you're like a true Scorpio. Wow. Mr. Rogers, I'm not judging you, but I'm gonna say I'm a bit scared. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but I have had some iffy experiences. And that doesn't mean all Scorpios are bad, though. So, oh, Pearl is staring at me. That does not mean all Scorpios are bad. So I'm not ignorant like that at all. But and then I'm trying to get my watch time hours up on here, so, but also not just that, I'm trying to do more creative shit on here that's entertaining for people, like, you know, just doing a variety of things, updating on shit like this in the media and just educating people on it, basically, because I think that's a part of healing too, is like society can be traumatizing in these cases with Diddy and Jay-Z. This shit is definitely traumatizing for people who've been through, you know, who've been sexually assaulted or R-worded or, you know, any of that stuff. So, but my point is I'm trying to get my watch time hours up too, along with that, but that comes anyway. Anyway, I don't know. Well, it's like, you know what I'm getting? It's like male Scorpios, like in my experience, kind of seem like tortured souls. That's kind of, I mean, but I haven't had a ton of experiences with Scorpio males, but it's like a tortured soul. The unhealed Scorpio is a tortured soul. Let's just put it that way. The unhealed any sign is a tortured soul, though. Let's be real. That shit is not fun. But my plan is I'm gonna go eat something, roll, then I'm gonna come back and do a cancer reading. So I will be back in a little bit here, peeps.